Here is your OffshoreInsiders.com sports betting podcast for Friday, August the 21st. Again, it is brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com. Should be one of the more interesting broadcasts for the OffshoreInsiders.com sports betting podcast. I'm getting a roof put in. Of course, we're in the dungeon here of the OffshoreInsiders.com headquarters, so hopefully not too much background noise will show up. But anyway, let's take a look at your Friday card. First of all, in the NFL, home team, the New York Jets, now a 2-point favorite over Atlanta with a total of 39. Kansas City, a 3-point home favorite over Seattle, and 40. 65% of the betting public going with the underdog Falcons, 56% going with the favorite Chiefs, betting that line up. Looks like the public likes the under 62% on the Jets game, but a slight majority of only 51% on the Kansas City game. Now we're going to take a look at your famed preseason primer for this. Don't forget, Joe Duffy's picks, we actually got both sides. Both sides. The NFL specialist. Now, one person in the history of the world has dominated any single sport the way Joe Duffy's picks has in the NFL. Been around since 1988 publicly and been betting since about 1980. And handicapping, most importantly. Get those two NFL winners plus the baseball portfolio. Not complete as we file this report, but just visit OffshoreInsiders.com for more details. www.OffshoreInsiders.com. We're going to have baseball pitching news and notes for daily fantasy sports and more coming up. For Atlanta and the Jets, I think that was an Elton John song. Of course, Dan Quinn got his debut win at home for the Atlanta Falcons. Now he hits the road. Todd Bowles, first-year coach, was blown out on the road. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the new starting quarterback for the Jets, you may have heard they've had a little quarterback issue there. Geno Smith, of course, is out. Fitzpatrick, though, did get a chance to work with the first team this week, which he did not last week. Starting defensive tackle Rashid Hageman is out for Atlanta. The Falcons do have quite a few players walking wounded. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman could, though, return in the backfield for Atlanta. If not, they will be extremely thin because of injuries. Seattle and Kansas City. KC will play close to a half. Their starters will. All-Pro cornerback Richard Sherman is out for Seattle, as is Earl Thomas, also an All-Pro. Fellow safety Cam Chancellor is, of course, still a holdout, so Seattle will be thin in the secondary. Meanwhile, Kansas City will be without Pro Bowl defensive tackle Dontari Poe. Seahawks enter the game against a very good Chiefs defense with 3 of their 5 offensive line positions in question. Justin Britt, who is a left guard, right tackle Gary Gilman will be they'll be first-time starters tonight. Same will be true at center if Drew Nowick gets the call, which is expected. So three first-time starters on their offensive line. Now, one of the best position battles is at wide receiver for Seattle. 10 players battling for 5 or 6 wide receiver roster spots. We've got baseball pitching information. Remember, the power of more than 620 sports services are on the Master Lock Line going back to the score phone days of 1980. Yep. Master Lock Line now 100% exclusively of OffshoreInsiders.com, www.OffshoreInsiders.com. Yep, many of you have been calling it since the early 1980s on the Scorephone 976 lock days. Now, Major League Baseball, Shelby Miller for the Braves, 3.03 ERA his last 16 starts. Talk about a hard luck man, 0 personal wins during that span. Cleveland's Carlos Carrasco has a strong run. 6 outings since the All-Star break, 2.51 ERA, and a 163 opponent's batting average against. Milwaukee, Jimmy Nelson, 6-1 with a 2.31 ERA over his last 10 starts. Minnesota, Tommy Milone, 1.73 ERA and 4 career starts against the O's. Pittsburgh, Jeff Locke, 3.16 ERA and 13 home starts. Talk about some splits. Compare that to 6.02 on the road. Justin Verlander, has he found the fountain of youth? Detroit's pitcher, 1.75 ERA in 36 innings over his last 5 starts. Arizona, Ruby De La Rosa, 4-0 with a 2.54 ERA in his last 6 outings. The Mets, Cologne, 1-7 with a 4.83 in his last 10 starts. Oakland's Chris Bennett, 1-2 with a 2.34 ERA and a 200 batting average against in 5 starts since he came up from Triple-A. Now, to put that in perspective, his ERA is the 8th lowest in the American League during that span. Not too shabby. Well, to talk about not too shabby, the world's best handicapper, Stevie Vincent, one of the hottest handicappers of all time, literally. That's no exaggeration. Stevie Vincent also has been winning for you since the Score Phone days. And Stevie Vincent on one of the all-time great runs. He does have a level 5 for Friday. Visit offshoreinsiders.com. Get that pick, www.offshoreinsiders.com.